Welcome, welcome everyone. Just doing a couple of technical bits just to get us set up. Wow, okay. We are live streaming to YouTube so that we can share these 7 days of practices with everyone as quickly as possible. And we're all ready to go. Over to you, Aidan.
Thank you so much. And thank you for everybody actually here and on the replay. People here, it's great to see you. My name is Aidan. I'm a magician. I'm a mind reader based in the UK. And a lot of my work is involved in understanding human behavior and human psychology to understand what people are going to be doing, saying, thinking, or believing at any given moment's notice. Now, I know we've got a little small crowd here tonight, or this morning, should I say, because it's a morning session. But it doesn't take a mind reader to know that at least one of you is going to be skeptical over that claim. So we're going to do this in two interesting ways. I'm going to share with you 3 concepts that have really changed my life as a mind reader, as a magician, that you can use inside your own. But before we do that, I'd like to play a little game. Okay, so I'm hopefully going to place this just about here. A little wine glass. You know that there's nothing going in around it. It's kind of there. It's the opening that's important. Okay, so we'll start like this. Nick, how are you? Are you able to unmute yourself? If not, that's okay. We can use the chat feature here on Zoom.
Yes, I am.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Aidan.
Whereabouts are you tuning in from?
Johannesburg in South Africa.
Amazing. I've wanted to go for literally years. What's it like over there?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, but it's nice. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully one day we can actually meet in person over in Johannesburg. But first of all, I'd like you to just think let's go with a random word. Okay. Now, cast your mind through a bunch of different options. Now, statistically, people tend to go with similar words. They tend to go with either an animal like a hippo or just a funny word like banana. It's up to you. You can choose either of those or think of something completely different. Just cast your mind through a few words and land on one.
Galaxy.
Interesting. Now that traditionally tells me a lot about you. It tells me that you're a bigger open thinker. You're kind of a person that likes to look up to the stars, see a dream and chase it down. Would you say that you're quite a proactive person in your life?
I'm proactive in my thinking, not necessarily in my actions.
Interesting. So there's a connection that we'd like to do. I'd like you to now think of a goal. Now, don't tell me this. This is really important. A goal or a thing that you'd like to actually have happen inside your life. Don't tell me this. Don't tell anybody this, because this is where we're going to start to bridge that gap between the proactive thinker and the almost proactive doer. If you've got a goal in mind, don't say it.
No, this is actually what I'm struggling with, because a lot of these things are very nebulous, and that's probably why I'm not taking action.
We'll tackle this in a different way. This is great because we're going to give a piece of insight as well. So I want you to think maybe just for now, a year out. What is just one in your head only? What is one simple change that you'd like to bring about in your life? This can be anything from better financials to launching a business to having a book written or to just draw a bit every day or exercise more. Just think of one tiny little micro action. Don't say it. Have you got something in mind?
Yes.
Interesting. Now I'm going to write what I believe this could be. Now I'm committed here to this piece of card. And the second I drop this inside this wine glass, I'd like, as soon as you should hear the ring, just say this micro action out loud. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Being in a relationship.
Interesting. Thank you so much for joining in. You're welcome to mute yourself now. We'll come back to that shortly. Now, what's interesting about this is that we've gone through one process here of thinking big, thinking of absolutely anything random, but out of all random, we've got something beautiful. We've got something really quite streamlined in essence. It might feel like a gigantic goal, but we're really, really clear. And that's what magic has allowed me to do in my life. Not only has being able to think of impossible demonstrations and being able to claim that I'm going to read your mind and then doing what is typically impossible, it's allowed me to find the little action steps, those little micro actions, as you effortlessly said there, Nick, towards the right step. And that just starts with that big, bold vision and working out the minimum effective dose. So thank you for that. Now, I believe we have Miriam. Is it Miriam as well? If you're able to mute, if not, we can use the chat.
Yeah, I've unmuted.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. A little bit nervous, but that's par for the course.
Well, you're in a Zoom call with a mind reader. Of course you're going to be nervous. It's totally fine. Just shake it off if you need to. Whereabouts are you?
I'm near Market Harborough in the East Midlands.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I've been near there, I think, at some point. I'll be honest, it's not quite on my list as Johannesburg, but it would still be lovely to meet you nonetheless.
You should see it. It's beautiful.
Johannesburg is going quickly downhill right now, Nick. I'm so sorry. But Miriam, I'd love you to think, in this time we went from a bit of randomness into something that was quite clear. Instead, I want to almost take it the other way round. Okay, so take a moment if you can, and I'd like you to think of like a memory, if you can. Don't say it, but just think of a memory, a positive memory from your life. Now, this could be anything. This could be a time you went to somebody's wedding. This can be a time you had your own wedding or your own celebration or your own family get together. This could be absolutely anything. And just cycle through as many as you can until you rest upon one. And you've got a positive memory. This really means something to you, right?
Yes.
Yes. Now, if you could, I want you to imagine condensing that and describing that entire memory in just a single sentence. Don't tell us the sentence, because that does kind of give the game away. But imagine describing this whole experience in a single sentence. Okay, just in your head. Okay. Okay. Now, I know this is going to sound a little bit strange, but we've got this full sentence. I'd like you to now imagine it in just either a phrase or just a couple of words, if you can, that best describe this experience. Okay. And now we'll go all the way down to just one word, the word that you feel best describes this experience better than any other. Just think of that word. Interesting. Now, are you fairly happy that even if you told us this word out loud, like there's no way we'd be able to tell you the exact memory that was going on, right? Just because we're random. We can kind of get a glimpse of it, but there's no way we could know the exact experiences that you've had.
No, not that I can see. But...
Fantastic. That's the confidence I like. So just think of this word and imagine telling me the first letter. Don't tell me, but imagine telling me. This is going to get a bit weird. I'm sorry. I need to get a bit closer to the camera. A, B, C, D. Stop laughing, guys. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Not a single smile. I will take that. I'm going to go with this. For the first time, again, as soon as you hear the ring of the wine glass, you can say the word, not the memory, just the word. 3, 2, 1. What's the word that you were thinking of?
Together or togetherness. Together
or togetherness. Beautiful.
To do with family.
So it's a family situation, bringing the togetherness there. Again, beautiful. And what's amazing about this is that unlike Nick, where we went from something random to something quite streamlined and strategic, over here, we went from something streamlined and strategic, a really emotionally charged, powerful memory, and used that to dictate the exact decisions that we were making. Ironically, this is the second biggest thing that I've learned from magic. You see, it's one thing to be able to make a bold claim and then work out how it happens, but it's the other thing entirely to work out what I've done, what I've achieved, and what I can do, and use that as my slingshot going forward. What's that saying? If you reach for the moon, you'll land amongst the stars. That's coming up quite prominent right here. Now, Kirsty, what we've done is something really, really interesting. We've gone from some random into clarity. We've gone from something clarity into something random, but this time let's go completely random. I'm going to ask you to make a couple of choices just in your head, off the top of your head. Okay, and just to clarify for the cameras, we probably should have done this with everybody, but we haven't set anything up here. We're not stooged, we're not set up. I didn't just say before we started this entire meeting, hey, everybody, Nick, go and think about this particular situation. And then Miriam, think about this word. We didn't do any of that, did we? No, everybody's shaking their heads. No. Thank you. Commitment there. So Kirsty, I'd love for you to imagine that just on my screen, or a bit like in between my hands, is a globe, right? And I want you to imagine that I reach forward and spin the globe, and that globe gets faster and faster and faster until it's spinning so fast that it's all just a blur, spinning round at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden it just stops and zooms into the first big country that comes to your mind. Have you got a country? Don't say it, but have you got a country in mind? Interesting. Now, interestingly, there are, I believe, almost 200 countries in the world, which is quite fascinating. I'm learning new countries every week as our podcast grows. It's ridiculous. But Kirsty, I want you to imagine spelling out this word. Okay. And whatever the last letter is of this country, sorry, can you think of like a piece of fruit or a day of the week that begins with that letter? Yeah, perfect. Now we'll go one more. If you can imagine spelling out this piece of fruit or day of the week with the last letter of this, could you imagine thinking of an animal that begins with this letter? Okay, take a moment.
I've lost it because actually I was like, oh, that fruit's not that country, and that the letter doesn't work.
We can rewind if necessary, or we can plow on as forwards. It's totally your decision.
I can do an animal.
We've got an animal. Now,
but it's not related to any letters.
With just a random animal. I love this. This is amazing. So with that said, this animal, I want you to just answer yes or no. I'm going to close my eyes for just a second and try and describe this animal. I might be way off, but I also might be quite close. So just yes or no. Imagine that I reached out and I was stood in front of this animal, and I reached out and placed my hand on it. It's quite a large animal, isn't it? Like by larger, like larger than like a dog or a cat or something. It's quite a, and this would be quite soft, right? In a way. Mm-hmm. Is there a color that goes with this usually?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know what the animal is. And theoretically, there is no way that this could be possible, right? Kirsty, this exact same thing. As soon as we hear the wine glass or that the cards are going to make together, it's quite full now. Just say the animal. 3, 2, 1.
Kangaroo.
Kangaroo. Interesting. Why did we choose a kangaroo?
Because the country was Australia.
Classic, straight to the point. We're not messing about here. Let's just get to the point, which is great. Now, the final element of this is like we've all got a random thought, a random word, a random idea, in this case, a completely random animal, because we've made a connection between something that we knew and something else that we knew. That's creativity at its core. All creativity is combining one piece of information with a different piece of information in a way that maybe other people wouldn't usually see, because you've got this unique set of expanded awareness, overlapping your personal experiences with your thoughts and goals and ideas. When you overlap those, you get to leverage your creativity, your curiosity, your interests to create something quite interesting. So although that may have felt random, innately, there was nothing really random about that experience for you, Kirsty. So let's make it random. Please, first of all, just make sure that all of these are like, this seems to be a shuffled pack of cards. It's less important over how well they're shuffled, but are we all happy? Just a quick thumbs up. Yeah, great. In fact, do any of you own decks of cards at all? No. Oh, you do. Interesting. It says a lot about the person.
Got lots of tarot cards, but I haven't got a set of cards like that.
I'm not sure we're going to find like a 7 of diamonds in a tarot deck, but we could try. We might be there for a while.
There are suits, yeah.
So before we go any further, it's quite simple to make the shuffle as clean as possible. And for now, the deck will sit up here, because I'm going to make a guess that's going to happen as a result of your decisions in just a moment. Yeah, that might be wrong actually, but this is truly random, so anything goes. I'll place this final piece of card inside. Now, Kirsty, first of all, as we'll give these a shuffle, I just want you to say stop whenever you can.
Stop.
Okay. Interesting. We'll go roughly sort of half and half. Top or the bottom?
Top.
Okay. Same thing again.
Stop.
Okay. Top or the bottom?
Top.
This was such a bad
Got some
idea.
clearing up to do in a bit.
Yeah, this was not what I signed up for, but we'll roll with it anyway. It's kind of hard to shuffle. Oh, okay, yeah, it's getting really difficult to shuffle at this point. Okay. Top. Oh, that's even more across the room now. This is great. And we have sort of, it's like 7 here. Just name a number.
4.
Wait, 1, 2, 3. 4 of hearts. The 4 of hearts. Now, theoretically, there's no way that anybody could have imagined the 4 of hearts coming up in this situation. There's no way. And to recap all of this, again, you guys are going to just unmute to make it completely authentic at this point. But Nick, when you first joined this Zoom call, you had no idea that you'd be asked to think of a random word and then into a goal, right? You had no idea. And then that goal into a small action step. You had no idea you'd be thinking of that. Is that correct?
No. Yeah, well, yes, that's correct. Yeah.
No, yes, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Let's keep going. Miriam, when I asked you to think of a random memory, you really had free choice of any memory, correct?
Yes, correct.
And there is no way that anybody else could either know the memory or know that you'd be thinking of that memory. Is that correct?
That's correct. No one could.
And so, Kirsty, the final decision, I mean, I think you made it pretty clear yourself when you said, I don't know, I just got to go with an animal because it kind of makes sense. There's no way that anybody could have known exactly which animal that you'd have chosen. Is that correct? Except we did. And finally, the random playing card. You know, in all of my time as a mind reader, there are few things that excite me as much as this. You see, we started with Nick. Excuse my bad handwriting, but I think you can quite clearly agree that that says in a relationship. There we went with a random memory into a random word, that being together, or as you can quite clearly see, togetherness. From there, we had Kirsty with the incredible choice of, what was the animal? It was a
Kangaroo.
That being a kangaroo. And finally, our last choice, that being the Four of Hearts. Smoke, fire, amazing stuff, dancing people, intense music, Tony Robbins style finale. Woo! Thank you for taking part, for thinking of these amazing things. Hopefully there's been some element of clarity from each of you, some element of relief. And Miriam, it's okay. If you would like me to reveal your PIN number, we could do that at some other time. The fear on Miriam's face right then was just like, a what? You could have just seen for that, but beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, everyone.